Welcome to another episode of Board Governance with Dan Clark. This time, let's talk about how to write governance policies. Now, there's so many things I could talk about, but there's a cartoon that says a lot about how to write governance policies. I used to read the paper a lot more than I do today, and I loved the Beetle Bailey cartoons. And I remember one in particular, and I've referred to it many times in the governance training that I've done over the years. You see, in the first picture, you see Private Bailey mopping a floor, a typical thing for a private to do. In the next picture of this strip, the Sarge comes in and starts yelling at Bailey. He says, "Beetle, you're not supposed to be eating while you're mopping my floor." And Beetle says, "Oh man, you've got a rule about everything." And the Sarge turns and goes to his bookcases full of 3-inch binders. 3-inch binders full of papers and rules. And he pulls one down and opens it right up and reads, "Privates named Bailey should not eat hamburgers while mopping their sergeant's floors." Wow. He could point right to it. And Beetle says, "It's a cheeseburger." What's the lesson? Policies are guidelines to govern behavior. Policies should not try to contain. Policy makers should not try to have their governance policies contain. Managers should not have their personnel policies and other policies contain every possible violation of their concept of what is right. Instead, the policy statement ought to say something like, "We need to be efficient, and we will be as efficient as we can at every job we do." And now, Sergeant can have a discussion with Beetle and explain that when you're eating and mopping, there's a ketchup stain right there on the floor. Now you just mopped there, and now you have to mop there again. That's not efficient. Even Bailey would have to, wouldn't he? Wouldn't he have to agree that that's not efficient? So now you have a reason to have a conversation, and you have better performance. Now, at the board governance level, I hope you would never even get to that kind of a statement about mopping or taking care of the business, but you probably should have a statement or two about the board's efficiency, and that certainly management should focus on being efficient at everything that they do. The executive of the board is the only employee of the board. So your governance policies will guide the performance of the CEO, the chief executive, the executive director. Management's policies then would govern all the employees who work for the organization and work for that executive. And I would hope that he or she would take the model from the governance policies and express it similarly to his or her charges. That we all want to be efficient, do every job as efficiently as you can. And you might have some examples of efficiency. But don't make the cheeseburger mistake when you're writing policies. Please visit me at danclark.com.